The next book we're going to read is Shelter by Celine. So, by the looks of this front page, I'm going to predict that this book is about this fox building a shelter with this wood. When I look at the back, though, that might make me change my mind because it looks like winter. This one looks like fall. So maybe he's building this shelter to prepare for the winter. That's what I think, but we're going to have to read to find out. So it looks like it's fall, and it says it's morning, and as the day stirs, the animals do too. So I think that the animals are going to have to show up. So they're going to have to wake up in the morning. Oh, my prediction looks right. It looks like there's some animals waking up out of bed. Some slowly, some gently, while others go leaping out of bed. I think that the bunnies are excited because maybe they're getting out of their shelters to go to school, maybe? And some who get up slow are maybe just super, super sleepy and they don't want to do anything. That's what I think. So when we flip the page, it says, over breakfast, everyone catches up on the latest news. A storm is coming. There's no time for panic. Together, the animals all set to work gathering wood. So I think that because there's a storm coming, they need to build another shelter, one that all of them can stay at for safety. Because I see each animal grabbing supplies together. They were squirreling away for food and quieting their fears. They must be prepared. At last, everything is ready, and everyone braces for the storm, and the wind begins to pick up. So because the leaves are flying, I think that the storm is going to come very, very soon. But I don't know if their shelter is going to be ready. I think that they are still going to be building the shelter, and that maybe it won't be ready in time for the storm. I wonder what this family is doing. It looks like this mom might be preparing some food, and it looks like this fox is very curious because he's looking out the window seeing what's happening outside. So this says, but all is well. The animals are safe and sound in their homes. What if others are still outside? Little fox asks. So this little fox, I thought he was concerned about the storm. But from the words, it seems like he's worried about the people outside. And he's hoping that everybody is safe in a home just like he is. In the distance, two figures emerge in the fog, the wind howling around them. So if you look really deep in this picture, you see two shadows. I'm wondering if these are different animals, if they're humans. I think that from the shadow it looks like they might be humans. That might scare the animals. So it looks like in this next page, every animal is looking outside of their homes and they're looking at the storm. I wonder if they're looking at the shadow or at the storm. Everyone watches from their windows. Who are these strangers? What are they doing here? And what do they want? So I think that they're not going to be very nice because they seem very scared. So we just found out that I was wrong. It wasn't humans. It was an animal. They're polar bears. Soon they came back knocking. The wind is cold. In exchange for some tea, could we warm ourselves by your fire? And this family does not look happy to see them, and they don't look very helpful. I don't think that their response is going to be very nice. Our fire is out. Try next door. So I don't think that this family really wanted to help them out here, because if their fire was truly out, all of them would be super cold and they would have no light. And it looks like their fire is still running. So it looks like this family is going to try and get some help because they're stuck outside in this cold, yucky storm. Our bellies are empty. In exchange for some tea, could we have a few cookies for dipping? We have no food. Try next door, said the next family. So again, this family does not want to help the polar bears. I wonder why they don't want to help the polar bears. Is it because they're all foxes and they're polar bears? Did they do something to harm them? I'm not too sure. I think that hopefully one family will let the polar bears in. The night is dark. In exchange for some tea, could we take in the comfort and light of your hearth? Our den is small and crowded. Try it next door, said the family. So nobody wants to help this family. What's going to happen to them if they have to stay out in the cold with no shelter? But the only next door is a hill. That's all, right? Says Big Brother. Maybe the hill will be more welcoming. So I think that the polar bears are going to climb all the way up this hill in the storm, just to hope that someone will help them. As the bears set off, leaning on each other and into the wind, a voice springs out from behind them. Wait, calls the little fox. He has something to share after all. You can't not eat, and it's not as warm and nearly as bright as the fire. But it's still generous, said Big Brother kindly. So look, the little fox gave him some light and some food, which was very, very kind of him. That was the first person to be kind to the polar bears the whole book. I think that they're going to have to stay in the storm all night. On the hill, the night grows colder, so cold that the wind turns white. Big Brother holds out his hand. Little Brother sticks out his tongue. Soon the ground is blackened in white, soft snow. Big Brother and Little Brother look at each other and smile. They'll be just fine. So I think that they've figured out a way to build their own shelter, because now that it's winter, the polar bears are able to be in their own habitat. So building a shelter might become very easy to them. But they didn't start building it. It showed the foxes, and it says, but there's danger in the fox den. The snowfall is so heavy that it becomes more threatening than the wind. The roof folds and twists, ready to give way. Quickly, everybody out, shouts Father. So I wonder where the foxes are going to go now. Do you think that the polar bears are going to let them into their shelter? Or do I think that they're not going to help them? I think that they're not going to help them because nobody helped them when they wanted the help. What will they do now? It's so cold, says Mother Fox. It's so dark, says Father Fox. Look, Little Fox says, I see a light. And whose light do you think that might be? I think it's going to be the polar bear's light that the little fox gave them. And as the foxes approach, the scent of ginger and cinnamon fills the air. Closing their eyes and taking deep breaths, they follow their noses. Finally, they reach the curious light. I think that they're going to find the polar bears. The snow is still falling. The wind is still blowing. Little Fox steps towards and shouts, the wind is cold and the night is dark. In exchange for some cookies, would you like to share shelter with us? And they do go up to the polar bears. So what do you think the polar bears are going to say? I think that they might say no, but hopefully in the goodness of their heart they say yes. The lantern light is weakening our den, and it's small and crowded, and we have nothing to eat, says Big Brother. But our tea will be warm, you better than any fire, with your cookies for dipping. They will be delicious. Come in, come in. So the polar bears still welcome them with their kind hearts, although they said no to them so many times.